Connecticut, what's going on? We are in, I think, officially Ledyard. Where the hell are we?
Ledyard, Connecticut.
Ledyard, Connecticut. And we are here with a award-nominated artist by the names of James Maple. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. So this guy here just released a new record called American Dreams, which, honestly, if you're a fan of the whole Americana vibe, I think it's one of the best records I've heard in a long time, especially out of this state of Connecticut. But then again, we're sitting in a log cabin, and there's a hound at my feet, so that's probably why. Let's start there. So when you write music, how much of it are you drawing from your surroundings and where we're at versus just this is the type of music you like to play?
My surrounding comes into play a lot. It's hard not to when you live this far out. I'm kind of like a in the moment kind of person anyway, so it's hard for me to write about something that I'm not in currently.
When I listen to American Dreams, I mean, I hear a lot of that sort of old country vibe, but I also hear, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing things like Mellencamp and Neil Young and all sorts of stuff, the band, so for you, what kind of influences did you have growing up as a kid to be playing this kind of music today?
Man, I've had so many different influences. As far back as I can remember, my grandparents would take me to Vermont, and we'd go see tractor pulls. And my very first concert was Willie Nelson. I don't remember it really. I just remember smelling wet grass. But I think that's always kind of been in the back of my mind. Like, they would always listen to country music. My parents listened to Rod Stewart and Mellencamp and all that kind of stuff. And I just recently have been getting into bands like The Band, because I just always wrote those kinds of bands off. Mm-hmm. So it's cool for me to hear that, like, so many people have said that this record sounds like The Band, and it's cool because it's not something that I was like, I'm gonna write this record and it's gonna sound like The Band. It's just kind of like, it's always kind of been there, I think, and I think it's time for it to come out.
Nominated, we mentioned before, nominated for your music in the Best Country category at the Connecticut Music Awards, the first annual last year, but that was for a band called Grave Robbers. Mm-hmm. So now you're recording under your own name, so why the shift from Grave Robbers to James Maple?
A lot of different reasons. One just being we couldn't strap down a drummer, and that's really hard to not have. Like, if you can't rely on a drummer, you can't do much. And I was already playing Grave Robber shows by myself because we just had a lot of different memberships and all that kind of stuff. So I was already playing by myself, and it just kind of seemed like, if I'm doing this by myself, I might as well just do it by myself.
So you just went up and down the East Coast, right? What's it like being out on the road all by yourself in strange cities?
It's crazy. I had a couple breakdowns. It's hard when you're driving by yourself for 6-7 hours at a time. You end up talking to the GPS. When it tells you to turn right, you say, like, okay, or you turn left, just to see what else will happen. But you get into a strange town, you're all by yourself, and you don't know what the show's going to be like. Ends up being a horrible show. It really takes a toll on you because you've got no friends there to laugh it off or kind of just go through it with. You're by yourself, you've got nobody there, so it hits deeper than if you had somebody to kind of like make light of it.
So in other words, the next record's going to be even more country and sadder than this record. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if you can get much sadder than the Grave Robber stuff. But,
that's a true story.
It's a true story. I feel like everybody died in the Grave Robber stuff, and this record nobody dies. So I don't know. Maybe it's time to go back to that.
So James Maple, this guy, I don't know many artists that sing directly from their soul like this guy does. You got to check him out. The new album American Dreams up on your Bandcamp page, correct?
Yeah, and
iTunes. So check it out. You're going to play a song for us right now?
Sure.
What do you want to play?
Boy.
We'll figure it out.
Just
sit and listen.
Yeah. conscience told me not to trust you. I should have listened to it. Told me you'd be by my side all our lives. She was just full of it. I let you in on a secret, the deepest and darkest of mine. You ran your mouth, so I burned down the house. That ain't the worst of my crimes. The embers float up like fireflies. Smoke, it rises high. Go and meet up with our paperback heroes, up with the stars in the sky. Up in the hills where I made my new home, rabbits are stirring their mush. Hidden and safe from mechanical animals, hid in the thickets and the brush. Embers float up like fireflies. Smoke, it rises high. Go